What's going on, everybody? This is episode 30 of the NERDcast, and I guess technically, well, we'll discuss that later. But I'm Lee. I'm joined, as usual, by Will.
Hello.
And Danny.
Hello there.
We went on a bit of a hiatus, an unpredicted hiatus, because Danny had some internet issues with his new house, as we said last episode. Yes, still having. But we managed to get this.
Let's not talk about that, please. Let's just not talk about that.
So, yes, apparently Danny has not sacrificed enough goats to the internet gods.
I hate goats. I really do.
I've only sacrificed a few. Guess it's not enough.
Of course, I guess with the other past of your house talking about how it could potentially be haunted, sacrificing goats might not be the best idea.
I actually do have some funny stories for you guys when this is over about that.
Okay. But yes, I think I just talked to Will and Danny about this before. I believe this will be the first episode that's uploaded to iTunes, and we're going to unofficially in quotes. This will be episode 1 of season 2, just because it's a new platform. We probably gonna have some new ideas and stuff coming up that I might be working on. Just some stuff in my head, but yeah. So that's kind of what's happening. So this will be the full, unadulterated episode, uncut.
Oh no.
And uncalled for.
Uncut. That's like the uncut and uncalled for is like the best tagline ever.
Yeah.
For a porno.
And apparently for Nerdcast.
That's going to be our motto: uncut and uncalled for.
Oh God.
What have you done?
So other than having internet issues, what have you guys been up to lately? What has been? No video games happening?
I've been playing Monster Hunter.
I've been working. Then I've been playing Pokemon, and I've been working. Oh, and rehearsing and walking and eating.
I ate some ice cream today. That was nice.
I don't think some of these things are of note.
Why not?
Today I was having a shower, and then the fire alarm went off.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, just getting ready to wash the shampoo out of my hair, too.
Be like, oh, well, screw it, I'll burn.
Yeah. Or you just walk out naked and just be like,
I was in the shower, I was safe.
There's water here.
There's water here, I'm okay.
You just see a fire creeping in under the door and you just turn the shower head.
Pretty much, yeah.
But, so you're still playing Monster Hunter, Will? How's that going?
I'm enjoying it, and I still haven't finished the single-player campaign.
Is it one of those things where you're just going off and doing side missions and all this other stuff, so then you're like, you know what the mission you need to do for the story, so you completely ignore it for as long as possible?
Pretty much. So, you can make armor sets and weapons in the game. And I'm like, okay, I want this armor set. And I need this one rare drop from the monster that I don't get until the 13th time I've hunted the monster, and each hunt takes half an hour. And then I get it, and I don't know what to do with my life.
You're like, okay, I'm the bringer of death, now what can I kill? Because I've killed everything to get this armor.
I still haven't unlocked the hardest monsters yet. Tried finding one. It kind of raffle-stomped me. Quite a bit. Twice.
So, I had an urge since I've been seeing everything about Grand Theft Auto 5 to go back and play Grand Theft Auto. So I've been playing Grand Theft Auto 4. I just beat both of the DLCs again for the third time. So I was trying to remember how many times. I was like, this has to be at least the 4th time that I've played through the Grand Theft Auto 4 story.
Never gets old, does it?
Not really. It's always different. It's just because the sandbox game is always going to be different, right? So it's the story's going to be generally the same, but how you do it. So sometimes you might have a mission that was super easy because something glitched and it just let you be unstoppable for a few seconds or something like that. And then so then you go and you start a mission and you're like, wow, this is going to be so difficult and I remember this and it was a pain in the ass and I had to play it 1 billion times. And then you play it once and you're like, oh, I could have just done this and that thing explodes. That's the worst, when you're just like, oh, yeah. Yes, that's how you do it.
I wasted my life trying to do this, and all I had to do was just shoot one thing.
That was the same as the other day I read a thread that was talking about somebody was playing, it was on the Mass Effect subreddit, right? So I was reading through there, and somebody posted a thing that was like, talking about how they hated the Mako and that they think it should be buffed or something like that. Like, if they said like, this was now, so obviously nothing's going to happen, but it was just like somebody was saying, did anybody else think the Mako was super underpowered? And somebody was like, it's got a big gun, right? And he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, it's got this big devastating cannon that destroys everything. Apparently there were a lot of people that didn't realize that.
I didn't even know it had a little gun until like halfway through Mass Effect 1.
You're like, what's that noise?
What's that noise? I don't know, I'll just shoot it with my cannon.
That was pretty much all you did. It was just turn the thing sideways and kind of strafe and just fire the cannon at all the Geth Colossus and you were invincible. Or you just jump over their bullets.
Well, what I would do to those is I'd actually go up to them and then just kind of Goomba stomp them repeatedly until they died.
That's another thing you could do, yeah.
And it worked. It was fun. Time consuming, but fun.
But, off that tangent, I guess we can move into our first topic. The biggest news is obviously the launch, or the teaser launch, I guess, of the Xbox One. And
the launch of the Xbox One? I'm sorry, I bought that console about 10 years ago.
You're very funny, Danny.
I know.
But,
I'm sorry, it's just the stupidest frickin' name of all time.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought it was the stupidest name of all time, and then I found out why they named it that, and I was like, okay, I get it, but it's still the stupidest name of all time.
Yeah, it's an all-in-one entertainment system.
Yeah.
Still
no.
stupid as hell, but okay.
Yeah.
I was like, at least I see where you're coming from now, so I can officially say that I don't like it for reasons that I can articulate. But, basically, I think the overall opinion of the community of what we've seen so far is that it's, not good.
To put it lightly, yes.
I think, I am still of the camp that for both consoles we should at least wait until we see what happens at E3, right? Because it was funny, I saw a thing that was people were talking about how they complained because they didn't show the actual console during the PS4 press conference, and then
The console shouldn't matter. Like, looking at the console shouldn't really matter.
yeah, but still, it's
something to complain about.
I guess if you look at it that way, yeah. But and then they were like, oh, well, we saw all these games and I want to see the console. And then the Xbox press conference, they show the console, but they don't talk about any games, and they talk about like all their other stuff. I was like, oh, we saw the console, but now I want the games, right? So it was like the Xbox and the PlayStation completely contrasted each other, and it was like, well, E3's coming up, so you're going to see all the games then. So from that aspect of not showing any games or them talking too much about all the other features that they don't care about, not gaming related, that's because that's what that press conference was for. It was supposed to show everything that it does not gaming related, because we have this huge ass gaming conference coming up. And that's where you're going to see everything. Doesn't mean the console is still not a piece of shit, but at least that's what it's... You have no justification to argue that.
Yeah. No, see, I just don't like how anti-consumer friendly this console is. I remember, what's his name, Phil Harrison, who used to be an executive at Sony. Remember that? He came out and said that when you buy an Xbox One game, you have to install it on your hard drive or on your console, and then you have Microsoft's permission to play the game that you just bought.
I think that was just poor phrasing. But.
Yeah,
it's definitely just poor phrasing, but really, come on. Think about what you're saying first, and, really, come on.
Yeah.
That's all it is, just really bad phrasing.
Basically what you're saying is, we buy the game, and we can't do anything with the game until we get your permission to play it.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of a good metaphor for that, or a good analogy for that.
I'm reminded of the Bane quote.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too. He's like,
I don't remember
game
exactly.
is installed.
You
have
install
my permission to
game,
die.
then you have our permission to play.
Yes.
And the
Something
day you
along
become a
those
70-year-old pedophile.
I only have one voice, okay?
And you do it damn well, Will.
Yes, I do.
But I'm looking through the stats of all the. It's a comparison of what the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, and then this particular graph they threw in the Xbox 360 stats just to compare current gen and next gen. Basically, from what from just a pure hardware standpoint, from what we've seen so far, the PS4 is the clear front runner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be visually better. Maybe not by much. It's going to be
Still
like this gen when it's like, okay, even though I think that in retrospect of this generation, in the long run, the PS3 was the best bet. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was part of my reasoning in wanting this system to begin with, was because I knew it was going to be a long thing. I don't want to sound like I'm some sort of prophet, but from the first thing, and they even came out and kind of advertised it as, it's adapting and changing, and it's going to live through this entire life cycle. So I definitely think I got my money's worth, except for the fact that I had to buy 2 consoles, but other than that, it was definitely I don't regret my purchase. But as it stands right now, I don't have any incentive to buy either of these.
I just don't have any incentive to game in general, right? Recently.
I probably won't need either of them once I get a PC that can actually play video games.
Yeah, see, the way I see it is that this generation of games has basically, I'm not going to say ruined it for me, but basically every month you get a shooter, an RPG, a shooter, an RPG shooter, followed by an action-adventure shooter.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's basically my negative point of view. But then you get the odd game here and there. It's really good, like Journey or
The Cave.
Yeah, haven't played it, so I don't know. But you guys said it's good.
It is good. I was going to go back and play it the other day, actually, but
You should.
I don't remember why. I think I played Grand Theft Auto again anyway.
For this next generation or so, I'll be happy with my Nintendo console and a PC. That's all I really need to keep me entertained. And my DS. Because Pokemon X and Y. Yay.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of other things. I had something else I wanted to say, but I don't really. I think that going off of what you said, having my PC is definitely making me think that this is the better road to go down, because I was like, oh, they're showing me all these specs, and I was like, well, this is supposed to be a current gen console, and my PC has better equipment than all of this.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I can buy a new console that has restrictive DRM and other things like that people are complaining about. And let's not remember the things that we're having problems with the PlayStation, such as like still no backwards compatibility, which is the same, even though you could argue that PS4 is better in terms of backwards compatibility compared to the Xbox, because they have the Gaikai cloud service that they're going to be able to download old games off of.
Here's another funny quote from Microsoft executive about backwards compatibility. If you want backwards compatibility, you really are backwards.
I don't understand it, and it seems weird. Like, if you're looking at it from a purely like monetary gaining standpoint, what if somebody just bought this console and like says, "Oh, hey, I really want to play this game," right? And you could probably look on your Xbox Arcade and see how many old games or like how many games are selling on there, just from the pure fact that, hey, there's a market here of people that want to play the old games. So to deny that for people who want to pay for a game that they might not have played that was from an older generation, I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I get where you're coming back. Like, that's not a problem I've really had, because I came in at the PlayStation and my Nintendo's always been at least one well, actually no, there was no backwards compatibility between the GameCube and the N64.
Well, I think that was a little bit impossible just from the fact that it's a cartridge to CD, right?
Disc based, yeah.
Yeah. Would be very cool though. It's just like a giant slot at the top. It's like, here's my cartridge. Sorry, back on task. Okay.
But yeah, so far I'd say that, and we haven't heard any prices. I think that once we hear the prices of the consoles, I think that's going to be the nail in the coffin. If it's not in the right spot, if it's like, if they're going to say something like a 600 or 700, yeah, if there's going to be like another $600 or $700 console for these things, I can't, like, you'd be better off just to save up a bit more money and buy a PC that's going to last
forever.
And does even more.
I feel like the Xbox One is going to be the more expensive one, because I feel like Xbox is doing what Sony did this generation, where they think they're top shit, and next thing you know, they're falling on their ass.
Yeah, Sony did have a lot of ground to make up when the PS3 launched.
So yeah, I can see Microsoft doing that, because Microsoft, their box is theoretically more, like, it does a lot more in terms of, like, services. So they can pitch that as, like, that's the reason why we're charging so much money for it. No, it doesn't matter. It's still a game console, and we want to play your games, and you're charging way too much money, so we're not going to buy your game console to play your games.
And also, we got to take into consideration that, well, they kept plugging, like, it was like, oh, it's going to be like your TV kind of thing, right? And that was what their big thing you guys were making fun of earlier. But,
Sports.
Most people are going to order, most people already have a smart TV. Like, if you're going to have an HD TV, which the Xbox One is going to be HDMI plug-in only, so there's no component or anything like that. Not that anybody ever used that, really, anyway.
Yeah.
But
hey, I had to use it because my Xbox doesn't have HDMI.
well, the new one will, and it's only going to have that. But
I know.
Hey, Xbox.
So if you're going to have an HD TV, and let's say that somebody for some reason doesn't yet have an HD TV, or a TV that doesn't have an HDMI port, so then they buy a new TV, they're most likely going to buy a smart TV, which has all of this stuff in it. It has...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now you have two things that are doing the same thing. And you
And
could
also
argue
keep
that...
this in mind as well. With the Xbox One, if you want to use Netflix, or if you want to use Hulu Plus, if you want to use any of those services, you have to already be paying for the Xbox Live subscription. But on a smart TV, it's free.
And that's ridiculous. I think that if they want that, they should have it... they should make it so that you only pay for Xbox Live if you're going to play games on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Because then people will be able to buy this and use it as something else other than... Like, other than the game console, they can use it as what they're trying to say, as like a entertainment thing.
Yeah, I honestly feel like they're trying to market it as more of a TV kind of thing, but not as much for gaming.
Well, like I said before, they haven't had the gaming thing yet, and they're going to do that at E3. So
yeah, but Microsoft hasn't had the gaming thing in general for like years. It's been Halo, Gears, Forza, the crappy Fables here and there.
Hey,
that's basically all they've been doing.
Peter Molyneux busts his ass to get those out for you, all right? And if you're gonna dig through that center of that stupid thing, and you're gonna like it because it's innovative.
I'm trying to... How hard is it for you to say that and keep a straight face?
It's pretty hard. But yes, like I think it's all going to come down to E3, and even more to an extension of when it actually releases. We also have to remember that we haven't heard anything about a release lineup yet. We've heard like some things about the PS4 games, but we haven't heard what the official release lineup is yet. That, to my knowledge. And we haven't heard of any concrete games that are coming out for the Xbox One, never mind what's coming out when it's released. So there's still many, many things that they have to release on the gaming side of things that maybe they haven't even come up with yet. But I think that it's... I don't know if they actually came out and say that the new Call of Duty, which they plugged as... I don't know why they plug it, like, there's a big attention with the Xbox and Call of Duty, even though it's across all consoles. And it's on PC. I don't understand it. But anyway, they did that, and so I don't know if they announced that if Call of Duty Ghosts would be on the Xbox One, or if it's going to be on the... Did you guys hear anything about that?
Explain it again, sorry.
Did you hear if the Call of Duty Ghosts is going to be on the Xbox One, or if it's going to be on the 360 and...
Oh.
I don't know.
It's both. PS3,
I
PS4,
figured.
Xbox 360, Xbox One.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
I'll
figured it
vote
was
yeah.
going to be that way. So that means if it's a port, it's going to suck for if somebody's going to get the shaft, either the Xbox One owners or the older generation owners. Sorry, and if they had half a mind, it would be anyone who owns a 360. It would be a shitty port version of the Xbox One Call of Duty. But that's putting too much eggs in the common sense basket for console development. So
Yeah. It's gonna be I feel like it's gonna be a bumpy ride.
I don't have as high hopes as I did last generation, that's for sure.
I'm not as excited. Actually, nowhere near as excited.
No, it's the opposite of that, actually. But, yes, I guess we could talk a bit about it. I just watched the trailer for Call of Duty Ghosts today, and I didn't buy Black Ops 2 just because it didn't, I don't know, it's just not, I don't find them a good game anymore. And I have played it, but, and it, I think I made the wise decision to not buy it because it didn't really add anything. And, I don't know, it just didn't seem good to me. But then the Call of Duty Ghosts, the trailer I saw, and let's remember that this is just a trailer, it did pique my interest a little bit. It seemed like it had a different thing going for it, and still not enough to make me buy it, but I wanted to know what you guys think about it.
No.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure there are things I could care less about, but Call of Duty is very low on the things that I actually care about, in general. Like the dogs, though, but...
Call of Duty turned me off of first-person shooters, but it also, like, it made me play first-person shooters and turned me off of first-person shooters because every game since Call of Duty 4 has basically been the same.
Well,
and
it's been the same engine and...
Yeah, and no, it's not just that. Every shooter as well has tried to, like, emulate Call of Duty's appeal, and that is just so exhausting. If you're doing the same thing over and over again, it's so redundant.
I feel like
you're
sharing a story with you guys when Danny's done, actually.
No, keep talking.
Okay. So I've played Call of Duty all of once when I was at Mark's house one time, and we were bored. So we decided to go online and spam rocket launchers. And it was exciting. The end.
But see, when I go into play it, I'd be more concerned about the single-player game, like the story-wise. And considering at this point in time, it seems like the story is just kind of tacked on. And they could release it as a solely multiplayer thing. But I don't know, it seems like the story's going to be much more interesting. It's going to be somewhere based on a like mercenary kind of thing, or not really a central government. So, I don't know, that's interesting to me. That's more interesting than the online play, just because, I don't know, well, first of all, there's no story associated with it. Like, most people don't even play the story anymore, but...
One thing that did interest me about Call of Duty Ghosts is I read somewhere that the multiplayer is affected by the single player.
See, that's...
Really? I feel like every
difference.
game is saying that now, though.
But still, it's kind of nice considering Call of Duty multiplayer has been roughly the same thing since Call of Duty, probably even before Call of Duty 4. I didn't play anything beforehand, but I imagine
yes, they did. They had Call of Duty 3 was kind of online. There's a transitionary phase. I think it was something, I don't know. There was something weird about it and even if it was online, it wasn't that good. And then there was Call of Duty 2, which a lot of people played. That was pretty big. But anyway.
Yeah, like what I was saying is like apparently it's like a dynamic multiplayer where things change.
It's interesting.
Interesting, yes. Enough to make me buy it, no.
No.
It's, I don't know. I just thought that what I saw in this trailer was different enough to maybe give people some hope that it's going to be something new and something different. But I also want to say that I'm going to directly gauge the quality of writing on the fate of the dog. If the dog lives, And that means I think that they've turned a serious corner in their story writing, in that it's something different. If the dog dies, it's cliche, and we knew it was going to happen, and it's going to be, oh, a tearjerker, the dog died, wah, right? It happens in every movie with a dog in it. So
Yeah.
So that's
Airbud.
that's my scale. That's my scale. Is if the dog dies, it's bad. If the dog doesn't die, it's good.
But we'll just have to wait and see then.
Mm-hmm. Which also means that I won't play the game because I'll just look it up at the end, or I'll hear about it.
Yeah. You just wait like 5 hours and then just look it up online.
I won't even play 5 hours. I'll just look up the ending scene Call of Duty Ghosts on YouTube.
Yeah. You're gonna have to wait a couple hours for someone to get there.
Okay, yeah. But unless there's people that get it early, which they do, so it's the whole game could be up on a stream by then.
Yeah. The internet. Will your wonders never cease?
But yeah, I think that's. So I don't hold out a lot of hope for the next gen consoles. And
Remember what the Magic 8 Ball said?
Last consoles.
This is the last set of consoles.
I don't hold
That's
out any
right.
hope for future gaming in general, to be honest with you.
When you look at what they're doing with the Xbox One now, it's a TV thing.
It's a sports thing. It's a TV sports.
It's no
TV.
longer about gaming. So yes, the Magic 8 Ball is probably right, and this is their last set dedicated to gaming.
Well,
See, the
also,
way I see it.
Okay,
No, Lee, you go.
I was gonna say, if you look at it, let's take somebody of like a general. Let's try to make the common person of the targeted age that they're trying to say. So let's say like if the targeted age is somebody like college age, so probably maybe a year or two younger than us, let's say, or even us if you want to be generous.
Yeah.
But so let's say the stereotypical characteristics are broke, lazy, and are generally busy or procrastinating.
Can you not describe me, please? I do not like people hearing about my life.
So let's just take those characteristics and say, so now we have somebody that let's say lives.
It's the Danny effect.
So, okay, we'll use you as an example, Danny. So let's say you don't own the PC and you just right now you own an Xbox 360 or a PS3, one of the current gen consoles. It doesn't matter which one, and then you're looking to buy the next one, and then you think that you can use this if you have a TV that you're already going to play on. You can get, and then let's say you already watch everything on Netflix. All your TV shows and movies are on Netflix and something like that, right? So you can watch it there. So you can use your TV for that now. Let's say you're a football fan or a baseball fan or a hockey fan, and you can get the center ice package or the Sunday ticket or the whatever the baseball one is. I don't remember, but so now you can watch your team wherever they play, whenever they play on your console without owning a cable box or a satellite.
Yeah.
Right? So there's that benefit to it. I get what they're trying to do, but people are already using other means to get that. That's the problem.
They're a little bit late to the party on this.
Very late to the party.
Probably shouldn't have even showed up. They probably should have just like kept driving and gone to McDonald's or something.
But I also think that they're having big problems with the fact that, and that's another benefit of PC is that the indie gaming market is such a big market now, right? And they're producing quality games and games that people want to play, right? So either an exclusively multiplayer thing, right? So it's only multiplayer, which people have asked, why aren't games like bigger games doing that now? Why isn't Call of Duty just a multiplayer? Because that's all people play it for. Well, an indie gaming market has come in to fill that niche, and you can get a Call of Duty style game, and with basically anything you can conceive of added onto. If it's like you want a Call of Duty style game with dinosaurs in it, there's Primal Carnage. You want a Call of Duty style game with something else in it?
Knights and junk.
Knights,
Chivalry, medieval warfare.
Right? It's like anything you want, any variant that you want is in there, an indie game somewhere. And so I don't see why it's going to be difficult for a console market nonetheless for to have that. Whereas on PC, I can just go on the internet and download it, right?
Yeah. Like, the last 2 games that I've bought have both been indie games.
Yeah.
Bought Don't Starve about a week ago and Game Dev Tycoon a little while ago.
I was going to ask you, I saw you playing Don't Starve. How is that?
It is one of the greatest games that I've ever played. Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but it's really fun. And it's addictive. And you have to get worried. Like today, I had my character, yesterday, I had to get some silk, so I had to go attack a spider nest. Didn't realize until I was done that I had 2 HP left. But it's a really good game, and I would recommend it to anyone. In fact, Sarah's playing it right now.
The last... I've played quite a few indie games in the last little while. The last one that I remember quite fondly, well, other than The Cave we talked about, but Hotline Miami was awesome. It was an excellent example of a game, and it was like... It seemed like it was like a period piece. It was like a modern style thing, but set in like... The time setting was like in the 80s, so they took like a pixel top-down kind of thing, like a game of that style, and they had like music that was reminiscent of that time, and I don't know, it was just really good, and it was really, really bloody. And so, yeah, I liked it, and I would recommend it. And that's the kind of thing that we're talking about with another advantage of PC, is that you have such an, like... And not to mention you can mod any of those games that you have. People have made mods for, so you can get any infinite amount of mods for it. But so I don't see why I would buy a next-gen console or a game on a next-gen console for $60 when I can wait like a month or two and it'll either go on sale or be like somewhere on the internet it'll be on sale for, even if it's like $55. So I can get it for cheaper, and it'll have better graphics, it'll play better, and I can do whatever I want with it because somebody will have a mod for it. So, like...
Welcome to the future.
This has always been prevalent in PC over consoles, and it's the primary reason why people play on PCs, but it's going to be even more prevalent this generation, because the PC is going to do everything that you want the Xbox One and the PS4 to do, without all of the extra no backwards compatibility and no DRM garbage. It's going to be... There's no downside so far.
PCs don't even know the definition of backwards compatibility.
Yeah, well, because you can get emulators and you can play literally any game in existence.
Yeah, it's like, here, you want to play this? Okay, bro, I got you. Let's do this.
You want to play Pokemon Red? And then seamlessly 5 minutes later play the next big game that comes out, like play Call of Duty Ghosts? You can do that. Let's see your PS1, or not PS1, your Xbox One and your PS4 do that. Oh, and I also saw a joke that it was like PS4 minus Xbox One equals 3, Half-Life 3 confirmed.
That's just grasping for straws here, guys.
It'll happen. Just you wait.
Turns out that Valve and like Gabe Newell are behind the naming of every console.
I just picture some sort of like elite console thing. It's like a circular table.
It's like the Illuminati of consoles.
Yes.
Just like Gabe Newell and just Nintendo, and Gates is somewhere in there just because why not?
Yeah.
I feel like Gabe Newell would be the person sitting in the chair with the light not on him, so you know he's there, but you don't see his face.
And they're all just wearing robes, and they got like Mario masks and Spyro masks.
The guy that sits ominously and like taps his fingers on the table and like does.
And just stroking his cat. And he's like, "Yes, good job too, good job."
So who would be at the head of this table?
Newell.
I would say Gabe Newell.
Well, he can't sit in the dark ominously then.
Oh.
It could be that he just sits there quietly and oversees everything, and they argue against each other and try to come up with a plan, and he's just like, "No, stop." And then he says, like, "We'll do this," and then no one
questions. But he's still completely blacked out, right?
Yes, and then
Okay,
all you see is just his like fist or his hand come out over the table and like point ominously, and then or slam
That's how they
the
should reveal
table.
Half-Life 3. It should just be like the room, and it's just like them deciding what they should do for like their next game, And then they're all discussing, like Valve's all discussing, and then you hear Newell just yell, "No!" Slams his fist down, and then there's a tattoo of the Half-Life 3 logo on his hand.
Or I was gonna say, like, it's just the part of the table that he's at is just dark, and all of a sudden he just slides the game out of the darkness.
This sounds like a YouTube video we can make.
Yes, I do recommend we link to this. This is great. Because we don't need an actor to play Newell.
Exactly.
It's
We just
an
put
arm.
someone in there and black with their body.
But,
Newell.
so yeah. But
We didn't get off topic, did we, listeners? We don't think.
No, not at all.
No, absolutely not.
I don't think. Well, we didn't really come with any other topic, so.
This was our free
Wait, didn't you
topic.
say this is our free for all? How Valve's going to announce Half-Life 3? Our speculation as to how Valve's going to announce it.
We could also talk about. We could go into a bit because I think we're coming up probably kind of close to our usual end date. But we could also say something like just briefly what we kind of expect from E3, just not officially our E3 predictions, just offhand, because we take our E3 predictions seriously here at NERDcast. So
We still have our predictions written down somewhere.
yes, and I'll have to review that. Well, I'll have to watch or listen to the other podcast and write them all down and see whether or not we were right.
I can tell you my revised predictions.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, no.
The Last Guardian will be announced as a PlayStation 4 title.
No, you're insane. It's canceled. It's
And
canceled.
if that doesn't happen, it'll be announced at Tokyo Game Show, because it's in Japan. Xbox One, we'll talk about more TV, sports, games, TV, sports. And then end with Call of Duty Ghosts again. This time showing a live demo of Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yeah, that's a given.
They will have gameplay footage of Gran Turismo 6 to satisfy the Mark Friesens of the world.
Mark was actually sent me a Facebook message a while ago saying, gonna get Grand Turismo 6 soon.
Dismo.
Grand Theft Auto 7. Yay. And he's talking about how there's a new physics engine, and now we're gonna have tire pressure issues.
Really?
That was me making a joke.
Oh.
There really
I thought
are
that
no
was-
tire pressure.
Okay. I thought that was real. I was going to say, wow. I didn't
There
think
might
it was
be. We
that
don't
in
know.
depth.
It might be.
And they will announce prices for both of them.
You think so?
The one and the 4. No, they will announce prices for at least one of them.
I don't know.
PS4, you'll actually see the box.
You think they're going to unveil the console?
Yep, and people are going to be like, "Oh, that's like I'm
Looks
so
like
happy to see the box."
console.
But you know what? Really, who the fuck cares? It's a
You
box
think
that's
your
gonna be sitting-
console was square? Wait until you see the PS4. It's perfectly cubal, and it's just like.
I was reading a tweet by the fake Kazurai account, and he was just like,
Yeah.
Sony should sue Microsoft because they took our concept for the Betamax. Yeah, those are my off the top of my head predictions.
I also saw a thing that was like it showed the Xbox, like the front view of the first Xbox. I can't say Xbox One because it's not Xbox One. The very first Xbox that came out, and it was like
fuck fat.
yeah, it was like it kind of dented into the middle kind of thing, right? And so that was like people were like, okay, this shape is like concave, and then they went to the 360, and it was like this was a more smooth concave, and then we went to the next one, like this one's square. I was like next gen, and it's gonna be like convex, and then it went to like, and it was like 100 years later, and it showed a clip from South Park where they had the game sphere, and it was like this is where they're going. So yeah, Sony's console's gonna look like a sphere, just one up,
The game sphere.
and it's gonna roll around on your desk. So
I'm looking forward to an E3. I want to know how Nintendo is going to spend 90 minutes talking about Pokemon X and Y.
I didn't think the game was going to be that in depth.
It's down.
Yeah.
Well, there's character customization and rideable goat things.
Go goat.
Hate goats.
Go goat.
I hate goats.
Go goat.
So how many Pokemon have they said of the new generation?
We have 3 starters.
Have they said the names though of them yet?
Yep, we have Fennekin, Froakie, and Chespin.
And I heard that they're going to be built so that it's like they're dual type, and
They're probably going to be like grass, dark, water fighting, and fire psychic.
yeah. So but it'll be like a perfect triangle. So each one will have a super effective move, and it'll also be weak to that same Pokemon. So
They sort of did that in Generation 4. Then we have the
Yeah.
two legendaries for X and Y. We have a new evolution. We don't know the type, and they're making a big deal of that.
Dragon.
And then flying.
It's pink and has bows, so we don't know what it is.
It's gonna be
Normal
another
type?
normal. It's gonna finally have a normal type after 6 generations. It's gonna evolve into another normal type.
And then what else? We also have they announced 4 a little while ago. There was a panda thing.
Oh, the panda fighting type.
It's just a
Kung
fighting
Fu
type.
Panda. Kung Fu
Pretty much,
Panda's in
yeah.
the game.
Yeah. A normal electric lizard. A robin that's the normal flying type, and then Go-Goat.
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 So far, that's the only Pokemon you can ride.
The only one we know. And they, in the trailer, there was like a pre-evolution of Go-Goat in the background that they haven't officially announced.
So instead of fly, you can you can ride the Pokemon.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because I guess technically you could already ride Pokemon, because you surf and fly. But if we're gonna get technical,
I hate goats. I don't like Go-Goat already.
it seems like there's a story behind why you don't like goats.
I thought I told. Okay, once upon a time, I was probably like 6 or 7, maybe 8. We went to. I'm in Niagara Falls. There used to be a zoo
God, there
called
actually is a
Zoos. You've heard this one?
No, I just can't believe there actually is a legitimate story behind it.
We went to a zoo called Zoos in Niagara Falls. There's like a
I think
cute
the
little
zoos
zoo.
is still there, isn't it?
Oh, cool. I haven't been there in a while. Anyway, they had a petting zoo. My sister and I went in, and we had a thing full of food to feed the animals. And basically, she handed the thing of food to me and just bolted it over the fence. My sister did, and then I just got mauled by about 15 goats.
I remember the
fun.
one time I had to
Terrifying.
probably be like 5 or 6, and we were at Marineland, and my dad filled up his back pocket with a bunch of the deer food. And I don't know if they were deer, like ram or something like that, but they basically just started attacking him to get the food.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I was trapped in the corner being pinned down by goats.
Yep. So.
Yep.
Sorry, I see. I've known you've had a weird hatred for goats for a while, because remember you told me about this. I'm pretty sure you told me about this a while ago.
Probably, yeah.
But I just thought it was just a weird hatred, and like I said, I never knew there was a legitimate story.
There's a legit story about why I hate goats.
And I'm sorry, but that is just funny.
Yeah, I know.
That is just insanely funny.
Yeah.
So I think that, getting back to E3, the biggest news that we're going to have...
are we off topic? I didn't know that.
The biggest
Well,
news
shucks.
that at least I'm waiting for is, and I think I'm going to make a bold prediction here,
I'm gonna shoot it down too.
trailer for Mass Effect 4.
No trailer.
Nope.
Trailer.
Nope.
Trailer.
What kind of trailer are you saying? Just like something that'll have a couple quick shots and then
yeah,
say Mass
even if
Effect
it's
4?
like a live action. There's not going to be any gameplay in this, don't get me wrong.
Okay, if it's live action, nope.
Trailer, maybe, no gameplay.
Yes,
Yeah,
but it's going to be some form...
I would say maybe, yeah.
Like a
Or
E3
teaser.
At least
prediction.
talking about it, because we at least know it's coming.
We'll hear something about it at E3, like my prediction said from last year.
I would say we will probably find out more about BioWare Edmonton's new franchise that they're coming out with.
That, yes.
Because BioWare Edmonton is not doing Mass Effect 4
It's Montreal.
or Mass Effect whatever. Yeah, it's the guys who made the Mass Effect multiplayer that are doing it.
Kind of excited for that, actually.
I don't know if they'll actually reveal the main character. Maybe not reveal the main character per se, but at least what the main character is. So
A time frame, even.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, plus think about it. They have Big Daddy EA over their shoulder, so they're gonna be on a strict schedule. That's the biggest thing I'm relying on.
Yeah, fair enough.
Is that they're not gonna have their free reigning schedule like they might have had in the past.
Yeah. It's like, here, make us this game now. I don't want to. Tough.
So it's going to be oh, well, you're not even in the middle of development schedule. You just started developing the game. Well, we're going to need gameplay next week, even if it's just for this trailer. which you can totally revamp or scrap and then never use again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been hearing more and more about Destiny.
I'm excited for it. I saw the live action-ish trailer.
I'm convinced now that it is not just a clone of PlanetSide 2.
Oh, you mean like I've been trying to tell you
sort
since it was
some
announced.
sort of bastardization, like the bastard child of PlanetSide 2 and EVE Online.
Maybe add in some Skyrim.
Yes, future Skyrim.
Yeah. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
I bought Far Cry 3, but I haven't played it yet. It's on my list, so then I'm excited to play the Blood Dragon more than I am just the regular game of Far Cry 3.
That's what I've heard. Just online, people enjoyed the DLC more than the actual game.
It seems like it was just sort of like I'm trying to think of. There was another something like this that what was it? There was a game that came out that was like it had to do with the game, but it was very loosely based off of the. It reminds me kind of like the Saints Row DLC, where it was just like something totally ridiculous. Even though the game was totally ridiculous, it was like even more ridiculous.
I feel like someone at the studio is just like, okay, we want something in the future, but in the past, with dragons and laser beams. Let's go.
We want something in the future, but in the past. I'm also excited to see something about GTA 5, because it's going to be coming out, so... We've already had pretty much our fill of trailers, so I'm thinking that we're going to see gameplay.
And that's your official E3 prediction?
Even if they don't, I don't know if they're going to show up at E3 or not, because Rockstar's had a history of not going with
Rockstar doesn't do E3, yeah, because they're like big enough to do their own shit.
Yeah. So, even if it's not at E3, sometime soon we're going to see gameplay. If we haven't already in the trailers, which I bet there has been. Because I saw somebody was breaking down the trailers and they were like, okay, this is a cinematic, and then they showed like this part, and it was like, this part is definitely gameplay because of this, and it's reflecting the physics of like this, and I was like, oh, well, this is just way too complicated for me, but if it's gameplay, I'll take your word for it. They also just released the special edition and collector's edition the other day, so.
Ooh.
I don't think I'll be getting the collector's edition just because, I don't know, I don't need all the stuff that it has with it, but the special edition has, it's like a blueprint map of the game. So,
Ooh.
people have been because they've been guessing at what the map looks like. So now they took this, like the rolled up picture on the map that was covered by the logo, and they kind of extrapolated the rest of the map from the fraction of the map that they actually have. So it's kind of funny to see some of the people's designs. But yes, I'm looking forward to seeing anything and everything about Grand Theft Auto I can hear I'm going to take, so. But
I will be right back.
I think I'm mostly excited about Mass Effect, and even more so is Destiny.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear more about Destiny. I've been meaning to look up like everything because I've literally never even seen a trailer or anything.
There's quite a bit of information out about it now.
Yeah.
I told you my story about what happened with me and Destiny, right?
I think you might have.
I went into EB Games to buy Monster Hunter, walked out with Monster Hunter, a poster, and a pre-order on Destiny.
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
So, I also haven't looked into the other rumors surrounding E3 so far, but I think it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. Like, Nintendo's not doing a real show, but they're doing sort of a pre-E3 hands-on thing where people can try out the games, or the press can at least.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting show, to say the least.
I think they were also talking about how there's going to be more indie game presence at E3.
Well, remember we were talking about that in the last episode, saying that
Yeah.
E3 is just going to turn into an indie game conference eventually.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the fate of E3, so.
Yeah.
But
And tactical pizzas.
yes. But I think that it's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I'm back.
So,
Congratulations.
Danny, do you have any closing thoughts on what you want to see at E3 or any other ballsy predictions you want to make?
It's not really a ballsy prediction. It's more of a hope and prayer. Hope that when Square Enix shows their new Final Fantasy, it's actually what's the what's the word? Decent. I
So
guess.
are they gonna show Final Fantasy 14, or are they gonna show their concept for Final Fantasy like 18 that it's in the works but won't come out for another decade?
Okay, here is my actual prediction about what is more plausible. Final Fantasy Versus 13 has now become Final Fantasy 15. That is probably a distinct possibility. They're going to show Final Fantasy 14: A Realm Reborn for PlayStation 3 because it's the stupidest thing of all time.
Is it still like an MMO or something like that?
Still an MMO. So obviously no one cares. Those are the least likely predictions. What's going to happen is they're going to show a teaser concept of an actual Final Fantasy 15, which is an announcement for an announcement that they're going to announce at Tokyo Game Show, which they'll announce at next year's E3, which will be the precursor to the announcement 4 years from now when they'll actually send a release date for Final Fantasy 15, and at the same time they will have announced Final Fantasy 16 the year before that.
That sounded overly convoluted.
It sounds exactly like something Square Enix
would do.
Yeah.
It's exactly what they would do.
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, no, Square Enix is just fucked in every possible way. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what the Final Fantasy fans want, apparently, because they
want an MMO.
They don't know what North American Final Fantasy fans want.
No, but that's the thing. North American Final Fantasy fans just want Final Fantasy. That's all they want. They don't see. Here's I was playing Final Fantasy 13 last week, and in terms of Final Fantasy, I despise that game. I despise it so much because it's a piece of shit. But I was playing that, and then I played Final Fantasy 13 too, which I still hate saying because really, why would you name a game a sequel to a number? But what I'm thinking of is that game is objectively better than 13, yet it sucks. And I think Square Enix is the only company that can manage that. A game that is objectively better. It's more open. You have a lot more freedom to do what yet it sucks. It absolutely sucks.
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of at a make or break point.
They're definitely at a make or break point.
If they haven't already been at one for a while.
It's the fall of consoles.
The way I look at it is I have my own vision as to what can save that franchise, and it's different than everyone else's vision because everyone has differing opinions. But it's go back to what it was before. I understand Final Fantasy used to be about groundbreaking visuals, and 13 was groundbreaking. Lee, you even said you saw the opening video and you saw the graphics were insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are I remember Jim Sterling basically summed it up perfectly. It's the whole gameplay department had the week off, and the visual effects department just masturbated on screen.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I will give them that Final Fantasy 13 at least, even I guess some of the older ones at the time were probably the best looking games ever.
Oh yeah, and that yes, that's really nice. But I say the two best Final Fantasies in the entire series are 9 and 10. 9 is the best in the entire 9 is my favorite game of all time, and I will fight anybody who says it's not a good game because they are liars. No, they are definitely liars. But the reason why is there's just so much you can do, and you can do it right away. You go into this one city at the beginning of the game, and you walk around. When you first gain control of the main character in the biggest city in the game, the first person you can theoretically speak to, there's a Star Trek reference in that game. It's so amazing. I was just walking around, and that's the thing that was missing in Final Fantasy 13, because you couldn't talk to people. And I just went up to some random stranger, and I was just talking to random people because I was because you could also play that card game. And I'm trying to find the actual references to what he says, but he says something "Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not this," or something like that. And I was like, "Are you serious?" It's the small little things like that they put in that you can find, and it's very small mini games. You have to there's chocobo stuff you can do. There's a mini game in Final Fantasy 9 where you just go and you just hop on a chocobo and you go the entire world map and you find items, and that is the most addicting shit ever. In Final Fantasy 13, what is there to do? You just ride a chocobo around an open field. That's it. That's all you can do. Basically, they got to get back to gameplay, and if they have to, if in order for them to make a Final Fantasy that's similar to the way it was before in terms of gameplay, if they have to sacrifice some like visuals for that, do it. I don't care.
Yeah, I think they're pretty much at the point where every game is visually stunning, right?
Yeah, like they could make a piece of shit and it looks better than what they had before.
So yeah, I think that if, not that I'm some sort of authority on where Final Fantasy should be going, but I think that if, just from the general market...
You probably have more of an opinion than they do at the moment.
Just from the general market standpoint, I think that they could afford to sacrifice some of the visuals just for...
Like, I remember, like, see, what the fans have been asking for is a Final Fantasy VII remake. I wouldn't mind that. Quite frankly, I wouldn't mind that. But I remember, like, one of the guys who works at Square Enix, he said, if we were to make a Final Fantasy VII remake in the same, like, way we made Final Fantasy 13 in terms of, like, the resources, it would take, like, 16 years to make. Then don't make it like that.
Well, why don't they just make, like, Final Fantasy 7-2 or something?
No, because they've already did that with Crisis Core before Crisis, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. But, no, like, what I'm
so
saying
they've already
is,
beat that dead horse is even more dead, then.
Yeah. But no, like, if you're saying, like, you want to make it look as great as Final Fantasy 13 and it'll take you that long, you have a problem. You have a distinct problem. You shouldn't be making a game that people, where people's eyes will, like, bleed rainbows looking at it. You should make a game that people want to play.
Yeah.
And in Final Fantasy 13... I remember I was playing it, and I literally just walked down a corridor for 6 hours, and that was the chapter. I was walking in a straight line, battle over, kept walking, battle over, kept walking, cutscene for 20 minutes, back walking down the same corridor. Like, that's not fun. That's just a grind. Like, it's not even, like, worth it to even, like, finish that. And I remember, like, there was a point when I was just sitting there, and I was playing the game, and I was like, what is the point of this? Like, I'm walking in a straight line. I can do that anyway. I can do that when I'm walking to work. But, no, like, fans have always said, like, what I miss, and actually, this is I'm going to say, like, Final Fantasy Versus 13 is proof that Square Enix has no idea what the fuck they're doing. See, because a lot of the complaints is that in Final Fantasy 13, they got rid of all towns. Like, you couldn't go talk to people in towns. They got rid of an overworld. They got rid of airships. They got rid of, like, an open map. But the thing is, in Final Fantasy Versus 13, apparently they were bringing all that back. It hasn't been released yet, and it's been 7 years.
Yep.
Because, and from what every trailer I've seen and every gameplay video, the game looks absolutely stunning. Maybe that's why. Maybe they're trying to do so much that they can't do it. Maybe they should just sit back and find what can we compromise on. If you're playing a game, your game should, like, the way the game is played should be the sole focus of what you're doing. And, like, not the way people are going to look at the game.
Yeah, well, because then you're getting into some sort of territory between whether or not it should be a movie or a game, right? Which I believe they already tried to tackle. There was a Crisis Core movie, right, that you said?
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
That's what it was.
Best looking CG movie I have ever seen. And you know why? It didn't take them that long to make, because you know why? All they had to do was just concentrate on the visuals. That's all they had to do. And the story, I guess, but, like, there's a whole separate department doing that. But when you're making a game, like, back in, like, the PlayStation 1, PS2 era, like, I'm sure, like, getting visuals at, like, that high quality was still, like, it was difficult, but it was doable. And the first, like, sign that they were going to have trouble was that the time it took for between Final Fantasy 10 and 12 was 10 was 2001, 12 was 2006. That was 5 years. Like, that's too long for a game. Like, I say, like, Star Trek Into Darkness being 4 years after the Star Trek movie is too long. 5 years after, like a sequel to a game is also really long. The only ones who can get away with that, I believe, are Valve and Half-Life 3, whenever that comes out.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they have a universally accepted Valve time, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much. Like Square Enix, they just have, like, it pains me because they have always been my favorite developer. That game, it will always be my favorite in the series, or will be like my favorite game series. Yet they're just, I have never seen someone, like, a company fall so far and not understand why. And they just, they're trying so many new things and they're failing horribly. And I mean, like, failing bad. Like, they just don't get it. Like, they're saying, like, oh, we want to cater to the Western audience. No, the Western audience doesn't give two shits about your game unless it's named Call of Duty.
Yeah, pretty much. But
Final Fantasy 13-4 Call of Duty. No,
I think just to kind of wrap this up, but
Yeah, please wrap it up because I can go on for hours here. Like, really, like
I've noticed that as soon as we mention Final Fantasy, it's like another half hour for Danny to
Just record like a special Danny rant video.
we
Let's
just
do that.
we
Next
start
time we do this, I'm gonna like. Oh
next
my
episode.
God.
I just go Danny Final Fantasy go, and then that's the whole that.
No,
Will and I
it's
could
actually-
just walk away.
We should do that for an episode. That'd be fun.
Just actually do that. Like you guys, like just save Danny Final Fantasy Go, keep the record button going, and just sit around and watch TV. And oh my God, it will be 3 hours in before I stop.
You could probably do the same thing with me for like Grand Theft Auto or Fallout.
Oh, but there's a difference between that though. Is like Fallout and Grand Theft Auto, they're still great series.
Yeah, I guess.
They
Yeah.
haven't fallen so far from the top of the mountain like Final Fantasy has.
But,
And this is actually like really sad because I like this is gonna hurt me because I'm actually gonna buy Lightning Returns 13.3. I'm gonna buy it for the simple fact that I gotta play it, and I'm gonna hate myself for it. I'm gonna hate every part of my body for it. Everything in me is gonna hate myself when I go and pay the $70 for the game. Be like, you know what? Like I don't have to I don't even have to finish this game. I don't have to finish the bowl of shit to know it tastes bad.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the best analogy to put in the place there. But
Again, you can thank Tim Sterling for that. He's the one who said that.
I was also thinking when we were talking before about what predictions we were going to have for E3. Just quickly, how far ahead in time? Because I think we pretty much already concluded it has to be ahead. How far ahead in time does it need to be for Mass Effect 4 to not be related to the events of Mass Effect 3? Because for me, I'm thinking it has to be at least 1,000 years.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yep, because they still have to rebuild.
Well, that and the simple fact that at least two of the people three maybe, that you fight with are still going to be alive after even 500
That's
years.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right?
Yara, yeah.
So, like, even if you ran into, like, their children at one point, which if you have anything to do with the Krogan, you're most definitely going to run into an Urdnot again.
Yeah.
But I think that, and then if you look at it that way, if you think about like, that means that they would have had to have, I guess you could say something like, oh, well, development basically got back to where we were today in this time later. But 1,000 years? Think about how humanity in real life advanced in 1,000 years. On a galactic scale with multiple things, it wouldn't be feasible to think that 1,000 years later we wouldn't be light years ahead of where we are technologically.
Maybe they'll have guns with ammo that regenerates.
Again? So I don't, they've written themselves into a corner. Just thinking about that, like, it's...
That seems to be BioWare's main issue, though, is that they always get into a corner, and I'm worried they're not going to be able to get out of it. Look at what they said about Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. Didn't we have this, like, discussion where they made so many ambitious promises they bumped themselves into a corner so that they could never please everybody?
16 distinct endings depending on your choice.
Yeah, that's like the ultimate I'm stuck in a corner and I can't get out.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I read that, I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, that's good. That's really cool. If you can pull it off.
Okay,
And personally, I don't think
regardless
you
of the ending, and I don't think they can go before.
There's already too much established for a prequel.
Yeah.
We already know the entire story pretty much.
That's not a bad thing, though.
Yeah.
I think that the best way to go about it would be to do... You could go back to, like, the time frame of Mass Effect 1 and do something that he wouldn't have anything to do with Shepard.
Just be like an Alliance soldier or something.
Well, they already said it's not a soldier.
There were sort of 2 years that were left kind of blank when Shepard was dead.
Yeah, you could do it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Because it also doesn't have to have anything to do... Well... Like,
I feel like those 2 years before, like, after Shepard was dead and revived is similar to, like, the 18 years before A New Hope and Revenge of the Sith. There's, like, all this fertile ground, and then there's so much that happened. Like, they've released The Force Unleashed 2. They had a planned TV series about that. They had a couple games about that. those 2 years, you can make so many different things
Yeah.
happen in those 2 years.
Well,
Like the only thing that's been established has been like a comic book with Liara trying to find the body. That's it.
do you think that it could be like there's too much stuff that happens that nothing you could make would justify like having all that stuff in it? It seems like it would be way too like ambitious.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what they do. Can't really make any good predictions yet, though.
I'm more looking forward to BioWare's new game, quite frankly.
Like I haven't heard any really thing about that. What BioWare's working on?
They haven't said anything yet. They just said that we're working on like a new universe, and that's it.
Have they?
That's literally all they've said.
They haven't said even if it's like the future, the past, or
Nope, they
Post-apocalyptic.
have said nothing. All they said is that we're doing something new. Montreal's handling the new Mass Effect game. That's it.
Yeah,
But the fact that it's something new, I am sick of the old. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Did they say anything about like the new Dragon Age games or?
Oh, Dragon Age Revelations is what it's called or something?
I don't know. I haven't played any of them. I haven't heard I know next to nothing about it. I just was wondering if that was still alive.
It's still alive and kicking. Like, they post stuff on the blog, but I don't usually read it.
Dragon Age
Not
3
interested.
Inquisition is what it's
That's
called.
it.
Yeah, and I haven't played I played a bit of Dragon Age 1.
Who
Yeah.
does that?
What?
Like which? I know it's BioWare, but like is it Edmonton or?
I'm looking at that right now. No, I think there's... I was going to say it's BioWare Austin, but those guys did Star Wars The Old Republic. Because there are many BioWare studios.
Yeah.
BioWare has like a lot of freaking studios doing a whole shitload of stuff.
Well, it's just like Rockstar. They have a studio for every major city in the world, pretty much.
Okay, so like, try to fill in the gaps. There's BioWare Edmonton. That's the main guys. That's like the Rockstar North.
Yeah.
BioWare Montreal. There was, I don't know if it's still there, but BioWare Austin. And is there any? There's BioWare Mythic, the guys who do the Warhammer games. Am I missing anyone? I feel like I'm missing some.
Well, I'm pretty sure if we just it wasn't that important. I was just wondering.
We'll be able to find out.
Because it seems like if they were working, if either Edmonton or Montreal were working on something to do with Mass Effect and the new game and Dragon Age, it seems like it's a lot of stuff to do, right? So I was just wondering if there was another major one that was working on that just to kind of diversify the workload. But that was just my
There's
own
also
concern.
BioWare Victory doing Command and Conquer.
Oh, really? They do the Command and Conquer?
I think
Or is it like a branch off of Command and Conquer?
No, Victory Games was purchased by EA, and they just became BioWare.
Okay.
They were molded into BioWare.
It's just like, hey, here's your new sibling. Have fun.
Pretty much, yeah.
Don't hurt yourselves. But yeah, I think that E3 is it's the climax of this story here.
Yeah. Stay
Everything-
tuned for more episodes in our post E3 post show.
Post E3. I guess this could technically be our post E3 2012 show.
Pre E3 2013, post 2012 show.
But yeah, I think we pretty much wrapped everything up. Or you covered everything we wanted to and more.
I think so.
So if you two don't have any closing thoughts,
I've got nothing.
you can follow us at our respective social media places on our Facebook, Twitter, our website, which I believe we plugged a lot. But I guess since this is the first on iTunes, we have Nerdbook, Facebook.com/ it's Facebook.com/Nerdcast Podcast. We have our website, thenerdcastpodcast.com. Or is it just Nerdcast Podcast?
I don't know anymore. This part always confuses me.
No, it's thenerdcastpodcast.com. And then our Twitter is at Nerdcast Podcast. So, you should check all those out.
Remember, listeners, this is all uncut and uncalled for.
You had to bring that up. I actually forgot about it. I repressed that memory, so thanks, Danny.
I would like to let you know that I changed our bio on Twitter saying uncut and uncalled for.
Oh no.
Our unofficial tagline now.
No.
Hold on, I'm gonna see what I changed it to. I didn't change like what we had before. I still wrote like the nerdiest podcast on the internet, uncut and uncalled for.
Okay, so on that note, thank
The
you.
official Twitter account of Nerdcast, the nerdiest podcast on the internet, uncut and uncalled for, operated by Manly92, Danny Johnson, and Will Starchuck.
So yes, you should follow us on Twitter then. But so thank you for listening. This will probably be the first one on iTunes. So if you're a faithful listener and went there, thank you. And if you're a new listener from some far off place just coming to find us now, you can find most of our old stuff on our website, and there will probably be links to everything else that's up and our YouTube channel. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Welcome to season 2.
Goodbye.